what happens during the summer that makes parenting extremely difficult?
Lack of schedule, I would think, for
Yeah,
number
it's
one.
exactly
There's
it.
and then it's life, and it's how our children are handling the day to day, what
hmm
mood they maybe wake up in the morning, and we think that it's gonna be so much fun, and then we go and we do it, and it sometimes can be a
Yeah,
disaster.
it's usually an SHIT show. But one of the biggest things that parents fear, especially when their children get out of school, is the regression of them learning.
Important, but it's not sending the kids away on a bike ride.
Exactly. You
It's
doing
you
stuff with
doing it
them.
with them.
And what that's doing is it's stimulating their mind. It's stimulating them with movement. It's getting them exercise. And you are actually having conversations with them while you're playing. You're
Doing this together as a family can also, you could be that person that starts like a walking group or actually like community within your own neighborhood. All right.
I got 5 easy activities to try to help make parenting easier during the summer. Hey everybody, welcome back to Prime Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Skip Wyss, and I am with the fabulous, you know what, I should be co-host one day, and you be the host, Dr. Julie Wyss.
Well, then you'd have to not talk as much.
I've been trying not to do that as much. I've been really trying to let you take over, which
Good
is
morning, Dr. Skip. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, you're looking great today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll just never compliment me on how good I look, and you look fantastic. I got my queued up polo on today. Fantastic app, amazing app, awesome music app.
If you like music,
If you like
absolutely.
music, you like to have a playlist and
Jukebox.
jukeboxes in your house, and just absolutely fantastic app. Go over to the app store, get that download. It's free. Queued up, wonderful company. So, Dr. Julie, we are coming off of our last episode talking about childhood injuries and all sorts of things that we can have and prevent. Now, let's go into childhood activities.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I got 5 today.
All right.
I got 5 easy activities to try to help make parenting easier during the summer. Because what happens during the summer that makes parenting extremely difficult?
Lack of schedule, I would think, for number one.
It's exactly
There's
it.
no routine.
The
and
kids are home.
Yeah, and they're bouncing off the walls, and you want to
The
be
kids
the
are
great
home.
parent. Like, and I've struggled with this,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to be the awesome mom that, okay, we're going to do all of these different things, and then you wake up, and when the kids were younger, somebody pooped, on the way out the door, or somebody forgot their snack, or somebody fell.
Everybody's always pooping.
Well, every
when they're
day
little.
we get the phone call, I'm running late because somebody blew up
out.
all over the couch,
Yep.
right? There you go, Jen.
Yep.
You made our podcast.
Jen Showman.
But I think we have really good intentions that we want to do all of these things. And then it's life, and it's how our children are handling the day to day, what mood they maybe wake up in the morning, and we think that it's gonna be so much fun, and then we go and we do it, and it sometimes can be a disaster.
Yeah, it's usually an SHIT show 95% of the time. And the reason why is because, well, let's just think about it, folks. Like, parenting actually kicks in during the summer, because during the fall, from basically September through May, somebody else is with your kids till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, unless you are homeschooling. And if that's the case, my tip of the cap to you, even more, because you are with your kids 24/7, being the teacher, being the parent, like ultimate parent, hat drop to you. Like, thank you so much for doing that for your kids. Us others that have our kids in public school or in private school, we have 2.5 months of our kids being home, which completely changes our schedules. We see that at Prime Family Centers all the time, where actually June and July are notoriously our slower months of the year, because schedules and parenting just gets crazy. But one of the biggest things that parents fear, especially when their children get out of school, is the regression of them learning. They worry about, because they get scared by the teachers that, hey, make sure that you're keeping up with your reading 30 minutes 3 times a week, because we don't want your child to regress with their reading habits, their spelling, their sight words, all the memory things, all of the mundane, menial busy work stuff that schools give kids. Like, I'm not anti-school, but summer is super important.
Summer is super important. However, when we were going through grad school, like that school is year round.
Yeah, grad school was
And
year round.
the things you didn't lose as much.
Mm-mm.
So while we say like year-round school, it's kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I want that.
Year-round school was great.
There are breaks throughout. And when we look at learning trajectories and developmental periods for children, we should not be so closed off to the idea of year-round learning, year-round schooling, because when we do the 2 to 3 month break for the summer, that is when so many things do get lost, or we fall behind,
Actually,
or
a lot of anxiety
of revolving around, okay, we need to do all of these things, and then we don't get to relax, and the kids don't get to be a child.
Well, if we think about when we did year-round school in grad school, we actually had a 3-week break and then two 2-week breaks. So that's 5-6 weeks of school where we didn't have school, plus holidays and stuff like that. If we think about it, during the summer, you're generally, your kids are off June through the middle of August, so they're off 10 weeks. So
but that doesn't
you
mean
kind
the
of
parent is off of work.
doesn't mean the parent's off, doesn't mean the parent's off of work, doesn't mean anything like that. So I want to give you some easy things to do for your kids that actually stimulates them and keeps them off the couch, away from the tablets, away from their cell phones, all of that stuff, and actually gets them learning in an external outside environment, keeps mood going, keeps their families and happy. And the first thing I want to talk about, which I absolutely loathe, is family camping.
I was going to say, it's got to be camping.
Yeah, it's camping. I don't like camping, but I see the value in it. I do. I see the value in camping. Number one, it's a 2 to 3 day weekend usually. The only thing I don't like about camping, I'll just be real honest, the only thing I don't like about camping is sleeping. Can't stand it. I would rather just drive home, sleep, get up at 5 in the morning, drive back to the campsite before everybody else gets up, and be there all day, and then leave again at night. Like, that is ideal to me. That's ideal.
And I grew up camping, and so like sleeping in the tent, sleeping on the ground.
Yep.
You know, if it was a truck camper, a pull behind,
Pop up, getting flooded out of your tent,
or cabins. The act of unplug, and I think that's why some people like the idea of camping or even hiking, right? Because traditionally you get unplugged, and that's
the whole point.
Excuse to say no electronics, because sometimes when we're at home, right, unless the power goes out, that there's a storm, we can always sneak away.
The vices are there
and plug into something.
Yeah, it's that habit, right? But even more importantly with camping that I like is the being in nature, being involved in nature. And then what you find is that when you don't have electronics around, which is what things used to be like when we were children, is that you're more creative, you're smarter, you think faster, you're not going to look for an answer, you're figuring an answer out yourself, you're playing, you're hiking, you're moving in nature, you're around a campfire, and you're outdoors 90% of the time, which is extremely important for your immune system, which we will talk about next week with vitamin D exposure. So family, hiking, and park days and camping. Park days, extremely important too, because it gets the kids moving. And what I mean is like parks, like hitting the slides up, running,
swinging,
playing.
being a kid. And that's where and it's not we're bringing our kids to the park and then we're, sitting off someplace
sitting on our
else
cell
as the
phone.
Parent. We need to be engaged. We need to be interactive. And so if
get
it's
out on the swings
duck,
with
goose,
them.
if it's playing the tag, if it's, the underducks and all of the fun stuff that you did as a child, teach those things to your kids, because while it seems like they should be learning these things at school, they're not. But I think again, the kids just want time with you, and because maybe they haven't had it, there's going to be that slight transition of butting heads and not wanting to do certain things. But ultimately, just pulling those things away from them and getting out and doing something together and listening, getting plugged in to our kids, that is super, super important.
Being engaged with them, understanding their personalities, realizing your son and your daughter, how wonderful they are, just getting to know who they are. Number 2, sports. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and be the baseball mom or the baseball dad. And if you like the whole traveling league thing and you're all over the country, great.
can be all consuming.
Great. That can be all consuming and will consume your whole summer. And then again, though, you're just sitting there watching them play, and you're not interacting with them as much. What I am advising you to do is do interactive sports with your kids. So number one, the best thing I love doing with my children is golfing, but I like doing it with them. I like being there with them. I like hitting shots with them. I like watching them play. I like watching them succeed. I love watching them struggle. I love watching them get in difficult situations. It's just fun. I love golf. I absolutely love golf.
And I think what is great about golf is because I think sometimes it's, well, I don't want to be, tied to a schedule. And so when we think of sports, we can think about, well, what things can we go to a park and do? What things can we do in the backyard? And that's where golf, I mean, unless you're on a golf league, again, I think what is so fun about golf is you can show up whenever you want. So it's the same thing of, playing t-ball in the backyard, going to a park and playing disc golf. It's any of those things that you don't have to have a rigorous structure around, that you have to feel required to do all of the things.
Yes.
And so again, having the time and the availability, but the schedule to do your own schedule, that you have that control over it.
I also like playing basketball outside with your kids at night. I think that's a really fun, if you have a family that's not, I don't know, if they have one kid, it's fine. You can still play 3-person, play lightning, play horse, whatever. Teach the kids how to dribble, teach them hand-eye coordination, pass the ball, shoot the rock. If as they get older, you're probably going to get dunked on. Like, these are dunk on them, block their shot. Like, have fun with them, interact with them. I think basketball outside in the summer is always fun.
Chalk, roller skating, rollerblading, biking,
soccer, kicking the ball around.
Anything. That movement is super important, but it's not sending the kids away on a bike ride.
Exactly. It's doing stuff with them.
And
what that's doing is it's stimulating their mind. It's stimulating them with movement. It's getting them exercise. And you are actually having conversations with them while you're playing. You're getting a chance to mentor your kids. And also, your kids then get to see what you're like when you struggle. They get to see what you're like when you get upset. How do you handle your emotions when your kid just kicked your butt at something? Like, how do you figure that out? And then you can turn everything into just a fun experience with them. I think outdoor sports is fantastic. And then the next one I've got on here is pool days.
Yeah.
Now, I think pool days are wonderful. And if you live in a city, most cities have a pool. You don't have to have a pool at home, but the amount it costs to go to a pool for a day or get a city pass or a summer pass is fairly nominal. And you can go to the pool. I wrote on here twice a month. I think once a week would be fun. Pool, get the kids in there, swim, get away from the heat, have a great time. Again, really good activities. But I'm telling you right now, don't sit there and just get sun. Let them play with them. But caveat to that, it is kind of nice to have both parents go along, and one parent does get to relax and read a book.
And I would say, like, we didn't have a pool. Like, I would go to swimming lessons.
Yeah, you go to swimming lessons.
Right? But then if that pool's not there, it's still, we can get a sprinkler for super cheap, like running through the hose, water gun fights, water balloons.
You can get the $10
so you can
plastic
still
pool at Walmart.
do those things at home. Yeah, fill
Blow
it up
pools.
And just do silly, fun games with water. Water is just fun in general.
It is fun. We have water. We have water gun fights. I was amazed. I was at Target the other day with my son. Water guns are not expensive. They're like $10 each. They're not expensive. Obviously, you can start just spending out of your mind and get electric ones and all those things. But the old-fashioned pump super soakers.
You got the electric
I did not. Caveat: I did not. Brecken did his own gift card. I didn't even condone it. I said, your choice, not the best choice. If you're gonna spend the money and get it, I'm not buying it for you. So of course he bought the electric squirt gun. That's just how he is. He loves things electronics, that kind of thing. But again, outdoor activities, running around, water balloon fights, all those things that you did as a kid, your kids want to do them and interact and have fun with you.
Water slide, slip and slide. Oh, those are dangerous.
And here's the other thing that I really like about swimming and outdoor water involved activities. You don't eat as much. This is really interesting to think about. Like when you have pool days, when you go to the beach, when water is involved, you're not eating big meals. You're snacking. And a lot of those lake snacks, pool snacks, they're not super bad for you. They're usually fruit, there's cheeses, there's meats, there's maybe some crackers. You're generally having water. You're usually not drinking soda pop. Like, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but our bodies, when we're around water, we don't junk out.
Better, healthier choices.
We make better, healthier choices, and that has to do with how God designed that situation. So I think pool is wonderful. Water activities, amazing. Get your kids out running. Try not to turn ankles, but don't worry. Just listen to the last episode, see how we can prevent those family injuries. Now, number 4, family walks. Family walks, super important. Family walks at night, even more important. Why? Decompresses you for the day. Put your kids out, get them on their little stride bikes, get them on their little scooters and stuff. Have them go up and down the street. If you're in the country, it's even safer because there's usually not tons of traffic out there. Have them walk. You walk a mile, have them bike. It doesn't matter. What that does is it makes you have conversations with your spouse. It makes you have conversations, not so much with your kids, but with the person you love the most, which is your spouse and your partner. And also then it kind of decompresses you from the day. It decompresses you from the meal. I often recommend that we do family walks after dinner. And why would that be?
To get ready for bed. I was thinking about, well, we just talked about this in our sleep podcast, but it's super important as we're trying to wind down at the end of the day to also be seeing that sunset. But that's also when like nature comes alive as well. And so you're seeing, the animals. Even when you do live in the city, you see the things that are roaming, or you get to start to see your neighbors, right?
Your neighbors come out.
And when we talk about like the places that we live, we are becoming such a closed off society that like, when was the last time that you stopped by your neighbor or waved at your neighbor, right? So doing this together as a family can also, you could be that person that starts like a walking group or actually like community within your own neighborhood of waving to your neighbors and letting it's safe to come outside and give them a wave that, like, hey, we're not scary people.
I think and also in the summer, because it's so hot in most places, this is the best time to be out is at night when the temperature drops and comes down. Summer nights are always awesome. They're usually not too overbearing. Sometimes they are. They can be really humid, but they're usually fun and they're comfortable. They're cooler. And there are mosquitoes and stuff out. But
as long as you keep moving. But we usually like bring an ice cube. So like you could do neighborhood, like you could be picking up trash if you wanted to. Like we pick up golf balls. But I mean, like it's the season for like fireflies. So you could turn it into like, I'm just going for a walk. But I mean, some other magical things are going to happen when you're doing it together.
The old firefly walk. I love watching our kids try to get fireflies. Like seriously, and bottle them up and look at them and stuff. I think that is fantastic. Now, what do you do when it's raining? Because we will have people say, they'll be like, well, yeah, these is all fine and dandy, Skip, but I live in Washington where it's a rainforest. Like it rains all the time. What am I supposed to do? Well, then let's do stuff indoors that stimulate us. There's nothing wrong with going out and getting walks in the rain, by the way. Like that's actually really fun and good for you too. But family game night, always super important. In fact, this is one of my favorite things to do during the summer when we have our kids is that we do game night at night. We kicked
your butt at cribbage.
Yeah, you did. But we play a lot of card games. We play a lot of cribbage. We'll do board games like Monopoly. Life Takes Forever. Monopoly takes forever. So does Pictionary. I prefer cards.
But when we're talking about how we started this of stimulation during the summer,
yes,
these types of games, especially like cribbage or like the traditional card games, when we have to count and we have to remember things, right? Like we're not just doing the fun things.
Yep.
This is fun, but we're also teaching our kids.
And you can teach cards at a very young age.
Even the game of
number
life,
recognition,
right? Understanding the money or Monopoly. We can still instill those different things that we're not maybe getting from school during the school year that we're doing in this.
And these are things that they learn throughout the rest of their life and understand. And just teaching them how to count stuff out, work with them, play really, really fun games. Even Go Fish teaches them memory skills. So like this stuff all helps a tremendous amount. Staying in it when the weather's crappy. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with curling up watching a funny TV show and
but
just
it's
chilling out.
together or a movie. But make it fun, like depending on like
And
you're
not
never
for
too old.
hours.
Like make a pillow fort, or what other creative things haven't you done in a long time? And you know, even if your kids are in their teens, right? Like
blow
let's
the
make a
airbed
pillow
up.
fort.
Blow the
you know,
airbed
like,
up and wrestle on it.
yeah.
Like,
So
you know, have fun.
Right. If we remember, like our first coach and our mentor said, like you only have, depending on your kids, you have 18 years together.
That's it.
So that's assuming your child is 0. If your child's 8, that means you have 10 more years together. If your child is 16, that means you have 2 more years together. When you start thinking about, my gosh, having kids, yes, it is tough. It is a lot of work. It can be all consuming.
Be exhausting.
And it should be, because they're your kids. But when you realize, just like labor is going to end eventually, that baby's going to come out, childhood also ends.
Well, life's greatest job is being a parent. Like, it's work.
And we have 18 years to do that. So depending upon, so do the math, right? How old is your child? Let's go with the 18, right? So if that is all the time that you traditionally get with your child, it starts to really then can put you into a tailspin to realize, oh my gosh, I only have this amount of time left while they're, you know, within childhood to do these things. So it's never too late to do the pillow fort. It's never too late to, you know, grumble, yes, we're going to go for a family walk. And it may start, you know, like, I don't want to do this. But
that happens at times.
But halfway
like it does
through
happen.
the walk, right, everybody relaxes. Even if sometimes there's no conversation, it's just that important, because again, you're role models for your children. And ultimately, we need to be setting a really good foundation. We need to be giving them a path for them to grow and to learn, and ultimately to raise their own families at some point.
Okay, number 6, bonus. Electronic free days and electronic free weekends. This is something that I absolutely implore every one of you to do. Something that we try to do. We are not the best at because of just the age of our children, but trying to limit as much electronics as we possibly can. And mark my words, when you eliminate electronics from your children, their creativity goes through the roof. Their brain starts working differently, their sleep patterns change. And if you don't believe me, eliminate electronics from your child for 2 days and watch how their brain starts to open back up. And then give them the electronics back for 2 hours and see how crappy their mood turns into again. See how testy they are. See how stressed they are. See how you saying, hey, Brecken, can you take the trash out? And watch them literally wig out because you asked them something to do, and all of a sudden their stress levels through the roof because all you did was ask them to take the trash out. So do that little cross-section comparison and see what you find out. I can guarantee you we see it in our son all the time. When he's not creative, we know he's been on his electronics too much. We know he's had the house phone out a little bit too much. And as soon as we take that away, guess what happens within hours? He's upstairs, he's playing Legos, he's making something out of cardboard, he might be 3D printing something, but all of a sudden you see those wheels of creativity just start spinning in your kid's head because they're not being stimulated by something like this. Keep them active during the summer. Don't let them become sedative. And keep their brains moving. You will not miss out on the math skills and the reading skills. You can still read at night every now and then if you want. 20 minutes a couple times a week ain't going to hurt anybody at all. In fact, you love to read.
And I read the most in the summertime.
Yeah. So once again, 5 easy activities to help you and your kids out and make this summer absolutely amazing. If you're worried about injuries, just go back to the last episode. We're always there. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe, share this to as many people as you possibly can. You know Dr. Julie and I are here all the time to give you the best and most robust chiropractic and health advice we possibly can for you and your families. And how can we make your families easier and easier? Because at Prime Family Centers, it's what we do. So share this with as many people as you possibly can. We are on a mission to get out this message of chiropractic and family health worldwide and how to live that amazing lifestyle. So until next time, everybody, go out there, get it done. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.